Well, good morning, Kate.
Good morning.
For everyone out there, this is a new version of Instigating Women and Friends, an episode series that Liz and I started a while back, and Liz decided to take the summer off, and Kate's gracious enough to now join. So thank you for being here, Kate. And for those of you that have listened in the past, Instigating Women and Friends is merely a video series to help uplift women and friends. We find that professional women are generally those that suffer a little bit from imposter syndrome and a little more from the inner critic than others. And so we just want to provide our professional perspectives. We also want to bring a coaching slant to the series and truly lift anyone up that wants to enjoy this and have a little fun. So, Kate, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Kate Marieb. I have 20 years of experience in the tech industry. I started coaching about 5 years ago, and it's something that really energizes my soul and makes it so that that personal connection that I get is something that I bring with me in other relationships in the tech industry. I am located on the West Coast. You might see me in Portland, you might see me in California, sometimes you'll see me in Arizona, but I'm most of the time in California. Today I'm in the Pacific Northwest.
Okay. And for those of you that know me, just a quick review. I have come from a healthcare background, 25 plus years as a leader and then as an executive. And I reside in the Midwest and am in Michigan today. So Kate and I talked earlier in the week and thought resilience would be a good topic. Unfortunately, Kate's a little under the weather today, and we just commented that maybe that's a great topic for resilience. But in general, resilience is something that many are suffering without resilience. There's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of stress. We've certainly talked about the pandemic for a while, but there is war, there are shootings, there's just so much heavy stuff that resilience is going to be a key. And coaching really does help all of us with different methodologies to become more resilient as best as we can. So just wanted to talk about that for a few minutes today and hopefully give you all some new insights and some new ideas. So Kate, what are your thoughts so far?
So for me, resilience has really been a journey. It was something that because of the way that I grew up, pretty poor, worked 3 jobs while I was going to college, took 5 years to go through college. There was a lot of what I'd call endurance, of just like holding on and getting through. And as a result of that, I discounted my own resilience, discounted my own strength, because I figured, well, if I could do it, and I was a little girl from Benson, Arizona, then anyone could do it. And I think that did a disservice to myself and my journey, but also to others who were maybe struggling with something different or something less than what I was struggling with. So I went, through work with this kind of warrior mentality of suck it up, buttercup, like just grab your bootstraps and let's go. Like, what are you whining about? So my journey has been a journey of kind of softening, of recognizing, my methodology wasn't always great for my mental health, but honestly, didn't have time to deal with that. So my own methodology was kind of just like push through, power through, endure. Once you get, those words of like, oh, I'll be happy when, or I'll be okay when, or whatever. And now I'm much more conscientious. So I'll kind of look at a week or a month, and even with social and engagements or extracurricular activities, I'll look at my month. For those of you who might know me, I love a good planner. I love a good calendar. I have many of them. And I'll look at the month and I'll kind of say, okay, well, I've got an event here, or I'm going to a ball game here. I won't schedule other things on top of it. Or I'll be careful about the social interactions that I have on top of it. Or I'm teaching a class here at work, so I need to make sure that I'm not, accepting other things on top of that in that week, so that I have the time to take breaths and take a pause when I need to. But even recently, with this, I've been sick for a week and a half now, which doesn't seem bad, but it's on top of a back injury that has caused some mobility issues. And what I didn't realize is that my schedule normally had just enough room for the things that I had in it. And so an unexpected um, physical illness kind of turned that upside down. I had to rethink trips that I had scheduled. I had to rethink what I can do in a particular week at work, because, physical therapy and spinal appointments or whatever, they're only available during Monday through Friday. So realizing that I didn't have any, what they call, extenuating capacity in the ER, I think is what they call it. Like, I didn't have that. And so that I was on a pretty thin line. So even just one more thing kind of really stressed me out, really impacted my resilience. And then, you have that downward spiral of, gosh, this is never gonna end. And, it just feels really heavy. And a little bit of depression happened when my mobility was affected. So that's when we talk about resilience, it's like the first thing that comes to my mind is like, I thought I was doing pretty well. And then life has a funny way of giving you a learning moment.
Yeah. And you can either sit in it and it feel really heavy, or you can laugh at what life is trying to give you and make the most of it a little bit. And it really is up to us to choose.
Mhm.
Same here. A lot of people look at career trajectory and what I'm doing now, and don't realize I grew up in a small town in southern Indiana, had a mom that suffered from bipolar mania. And with that, I learned that life is like this. So I might appear to be calm and courageous. It really is just that, I know, after the highs, there are just going to be natural lows and in this swing and tendency. And yet, on the whole, life is good. And we can find whatever we want to find. We can see whatever we want to see. And I don't want to sound too cliche, but my daughter and I play slug bug in the car, and man, who would have thought? And if we weren't looking for it, we wouldn't see all of those. I went on a walk with a friend in April, and we were just out in the middle of nowhere, and she said she wanted to send some heart pictures to her daughter. And I thought, heart pictures? And I'm looking on the sidewalks because there are some chalk paints and things that kids have drawn. And I was like, well, send her that. She goes, no, I meant like natural hearts that we would find. And I thought, there's no way. Yes, there was a leaf we found that was just exactly finely shaped like a heart. And so I just really have started to try to look for the good, look for the opportunity, look for the upside. And it really helps me find the resilience I need. I also try to remember that, there can be dark for sure. But the dark can't exist if you're shining a light on it. And sometimes that light comes from external sources, and sometimes that light comes from us. And just trying to sort through how to do that, and impact others as best I can. Lastly, I just remember my family is counting on me. My friends are counting on me. You know, my colleagues at work always were counting on me to find that light or that crack in the door or that window or that can be hard and stressful, or it can be a fun challenge if we look at it in that way. So
As you were talking, that idea of being open
yes.
to seeing the hearts, and and I'm reflecting on bipolar as well, because it's through those deep times, those dark times, that you can see so much light when you have that disease. Especially if you're an outside observer to what's happening, right? You can see how deep and dark the person goes and how high the person can go, and how disruptive those two are. But the goodness in that is you don't get the light without the dark, right? And I reflect on my, like I was really sick with 102 fever on Wednesday, but I'm so much better now than I am. Right. And so when you're in that, like, oh, I'm annoyed phase of, gosh, this has been a long time, you can still reflect back and be like, but I'm better than I was.
Yeah.
Right. And today I see a lot of posts on toxic positivity and whatnot, right? Just being too Pollyanna. But I think, it's that balance between acknowledging the presence and then your control over what you have, right? You can go for a walk, you can go look for the hearts, you can reach out to a friend, you can do something good for someone else. I was reading, I was watching a reel on Instagram, and one of the people that I follow is like, hey, when I'm, sometimes just for fun, I go leave nice comments and people stop.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
who would have thought?
That is a low effort way of brightening someone's day, like a complete stranger, right?
Exactly.
There's like no effort to that.
Yeah, exactly. And those little things are a big deal. They just are. Yeah. And then, shifting gears a little bit to leadership in business. I think, when some of the leadership journals and HBR highlight best practices in resilience and leadership, most of the times it comes down to scenario planning and then having contingencies, which gets back to, look at all the possibilities ahead of you. Don't assume that your tunnel vision, your perspective based on your background is the only way. And proactively think about those contingency plans, assuming maybe things won't go perfectly with your business or with your team. And that helps you and the whole team be more confident as you're having those distractions come up in midweek or some new opportunities. Contingency plans don't always have to be because something negative happened. It could be because something new and different and unique and positive happened.
And you have to be open to receiving those when those occur. Because if you're stuck in like, oh, this is what we're doing right now, you might not see the opportunity that comes in. In the tech industry right now, we're seeing a real, halt on spending, on hiring. And that's pretty jarring because we're pretty go. Like the world's always rosy and sunny. And we've, with the threat of recession coming, we're very much pulling on the, stomping on the brakes. And that feels really jarring. The expectations that you have over, well, this is what I'm going to do, and not being open to any change can really be disruptive to the entire team as you go through whatever the environment is. And that, you call it contingency planning and I call it managing expectations, right? Which are both the same thing. Only one is kind of in the moment, whereas another one is planful. And I like the combination of those two things.
Yeah, I agree. And jarring can be paralyzing. Sometimes when people are in such a go mode for years or forever, and they hit that first wall, suddenly it's, oh crap, this this could
Now
happen.
what?
I never thought that could happen. That could happen again. And people really do lose their footing. So yeah, I always like to talk about the contingency plan. Sometimes I was accused of being negative, or, not having confidence. And my point always was, no, I really don't believe we can all read the future. I just don't believe we have a crystal ball. I don't believe it could be 100% accurate if we did. So let's think about other assumptions, other possibilities, and get ready for them. And it finally did start to work. And I saw some resilience building and some collegial team build over time.
I like the the collaboration aspect of getting all of the assumptions out. What are we assuming is going to happen? What else could we assume? And that puts a positive spin on it from the standpoint of, we think it's going to go like this, but what if that market disappears, or what if there's another opportunity over here? Will we be ready for it? And I just like the visual of people's ideas coming on the table to see what we did and didn't think of.
Yeah. And then it's fun to go and look back. I'd say back in the early 2000s, I was in Indianapolis working in healthcare, and we took this to a really granular level of scenario planning for the future. And one of the scenarios was, what if gambling is legalized across the country? And what if people are really investing in new ways of money? And now I look at that and go, oh my gosh, here we are, gambling and all kinds of new revenue streams, but also new currencies are in our world today. And I think one of them was, what if there's a severe disease or a pandemic of sorts? How's that going to affect healthcare? And we walk through some of those things. Now, no one's still there that went through it, but it is wild to see the ideas we thought at the time that would be just never events can actually come.
Yeah. And even if they don't, just by opening up your mind to those possibilities can help you either anticipate threats or see opportunities, right? Versus we have the plan, we're going to stick to the plan, we're going to do this. It's very, goes back to finding the hearts, right? If you don't look for them, you're never going to see them when they come in.
And it gets back to the coaching method as well. When we coach with clients, they can come in sometimes and just be like, I can't ever do this or that, or even if it's a wellness client, I never have time to work out. And you just sit and talk and go, really? Never, ever? And no one has the time to do that kind of thing. And just sitting back a little and going, okay, probably it's not a never thing. And maybe there's a way to get 5 or 10 minutes in.
Yeah. It's
baby steps and it's possibilities.
Hyperbole is a good one when you notice it, right? To be like, oh, I'm saying never always, or I can't.
Cannot. I cannot.
I can't do that. I can't cook at home, or I can't, I don't know how to cook, or I don't know what, I don't know how to work out, or that doesn't work for me. I could. What about a little experimentation? What about, I remember back, gosh, it's probably been a decade now. I was super stressed. It was during financial planning time of year. I was a finance manager. The most stressful time of my year. I had to go up in front of big fancy vice presidents and defend my business units financial plans for a technology company. And I mean, it was super stressful.
Yeah.
And I got into the habit. There was a cake company who would deliver to my workplace.
Oh yeah.
And I got into the habit of like, if we made it until Friday, then I would order a cake. And everyone could have cake. They were really good. And then it was like, well, we got it, we made it till Tuesday. So like, so we had like cake 2 times a week. And I got a stupid email from I think it was Oprah or her engagement with Deepak Chopra or something. And it was like, instead of having the cake, it was like speaking directly to my soul, instead of having the cake, you should meditate. And I remember like standing at my desk in my cubicle and being like, meditate? I don't freaking have time to meditate. What are you freaking kidding me? Like I barely have time to go to the bathroom, never less meditate. And then the next line was even a minute a day. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, well, I have a minute. I have a minute. I
probably had time to order that cake and eat that cake.
Exactly. If I have time to eat the cake, I probably have a minute that I can meditate. If you know, those are the 2 choices. So I think that's when my kind of that wellness aspect of resiliency and stress management came into my life. Is like, oh well, crap, I can, if this is better than that for managing it, then I probably shouldn't apply more cake. I should probably take away the cake and apply other things that are healthy, like meditation and working out. And I was working out at the time like 5 days a week. It was a part of my overall mental wellness.
Yeah.
But I was also doing a lot of things like chocolate and alcohol that feel good in the moment, but don't feel good over time.
Mm-hmm. And then you recognize it's like, I'm working out, but then I'm doing all this stuff on the other side. And that's how I always know I'm out of alignment, is when I'm trying to fix it by working out and not actually eating well and drinking well and those things. So yeah, alignment is a big part of that. Well, how about next time we talk about health and well-being, because you and I are both getting or you're already certified, right?
Yes, I am. My well coach certification.
Kate is certified as our health and well-being coach through Well Coaches, and I'm hoping to complete mine very, very, very soon. But for today, how would you wrap up your advice about resilience?
I would say the best place is to just notice where you can interject things that feed your soul, and get up and do it, right? Do an index of what makes you feel better, what helps you be in the moment, and start small. Good.
And I would add, get up, be proactive about what you want to see. Also recognize what assumptions you're making. And if you're assuming that today is going to be just like yesterday and the day before and last year, you might want to rethink your assumptions a little bit, and at least throw another 1 or 2, so that you can have a few ideas about what you might want to do if occurs, and not be surprised by it. Well, thank you, Kate. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Gwen. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, we'll talk again soon.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.